third Sabre that's in double figures. Steven Sukup through the double team, gets the shot to go. He's got 29. This lead, this deficit is definitely not barely in any fault his whatsoever in this game.
Absolutely not. Again, we see Singletary pursue the ball out of bounds, but not able to come away with it.
Inbounded into Manhart, given off to Raymer. There's been a lot of their press breaker opportunities, just throwing it to their tall post and letting him give it off to the point guard. Raymer, pull-up jumper, back of the rim, no good, and then tipped out of bounds by Manhart. Go back to the Wesleyan Tigers. 2:45 left on the clock. It's 81-72 in the consolation game of the Buzz Levick tournament.
And regardless of how many miscues the rest of this Tigers team has had in this second half, other than the fouls on Michael Sukup, which obviously got him taken out of the game, the Sukup twins have been fantastic consistently in this game. And it's just a shame that the miscues by them and by the rest of their offense have led to this deficit.
Singletary gets to the rim again. He's up to 18 off the bench for this Tiger team, and the lead is down to 7 for Marian. This team needs to force a couple more turnovers if they want to get this lead back to a manageable two-deficit game. Timeout Marian as they're going to draw something up offensively. It's going to be a full timeout, but we're going to keep it right here with just a little bit of time left in this game. You know, it's really tough to draw up an offense for the Tigers because your only effective scorers really today have been the Sukup twins and Singletary. But without Michael Sukup out there, you only have two guys that you can look to for consistent offense.
Yeah, they're going to have to find a way to spread the ball around more. Marian's offense has been very balanced throughout this game. Wesleyan has relied very, very heavily on only a couple of players. And the primary problem with doing that in basketball is that not only does the other team's defense learn to cover those players, but when you lose one of those players, Michael Sukup having left the game for fouls, that becomes a huge problem. That and the constant free points that they've given Marian, have been their biggest problems in this game. They probably have given Marian enough. It's a 7-point lead. I will guarantee that over 7 points have been off of fouls and turnovers from this Wesleyan offense.
And something I've noticed is that, so you've got Dre in there at center, but Manhart, very oversized matchup. And Dre's playing with that 4 fouls. This throw, they're going right at him. That's an offensive foul. Very risky play by Dre, but able to come up with the turnover.
Great for the Tigers to get a foul going their way, especially now that it's 2 minutes and 1 second left on the clock. Only a 7-point game, still manageable. That's 3 baskets. That's doable easily in 2 minutes, but they have to be able to get into a rhythm, and they have to be able to keep the ball.
Sukup with it, pump fake and drive, swatted from behind and fouled by Manhart. That looks like a clean block to me, coming from behind.
Yeah, I didn't think it was a foul when I saw it. But, I mean, we're not the ones that have the final say.
So going back to that charge taken by Manhart, that play, if it had gone the other way, probably would have been the final nail in the coffin.
Probably.
For the Tigers, you lose Dre and you lose all your size. You got to put Jones in there at center, and he's only 6'4", going against both Manhart and against Welker down low.
But with Steven Sukup making this first free throw and now making the second, they've given the Tigers a nice last chance.
And a foul away from the ball, and that's actually one of the worst mistakes they could have made in this situation.
Absolutely. I was just talking right before that happened about the fact that the momentum was starting to shift back in Iowa Wesleyan's favor a little bit. Those free throws putting them only 5 points down with more than enough time to cover that gap. Free points, the last thing that they need Marian to have right now.
Pinson back at the free throw line. Knocks home the first one. Pinson for the game. He's actually had himself a very nice game. He's 3 for 3 from the free throw line, and he's got 13 total points
And off the numbers, his speed has been apparent throughout the entirety of this ball game. He is such a quick adjuster to the ball. His passes are lightning fast, and he can change directions in the blink of an eye.
Sukup launched a three. That's an air ball saved by Anderson, but he stepped on the out-of-bounds line before taking off. So 83-76, 7 points left, 1:44 on the clock.
This is a good game. It's not necessarily very good for the Tigers right now, but it's good for us watching it.
Raymer holding it out up top, trying to take some time off the clock with a 3-possession lead. Guarded by Singletary, looking for a turnover, but trying to avoid a foul, and he does pick up the foul. That's a very touchy call, in my opinion.
Yeah, there have been a couple. I've had 4 ref calls this game that I've been unsure of. And I'm not going to assume that I know better than the referees, but those calls have been very, very important calls.
Raymer back at the free throw line. That's going to put him at his season average with an even 16. He's had himself quite a day. We'll talk about him a lot during postgame.
Absolutely. He and Pinson have had a great chemistry on this court today. Most of their drives, when they've been stuck, have just been Pinson and Raymer playing monkey in the middle, just passing it back and forth.
Butler back the other way, buries the pull-up jumper. 5-point game, timeout for Wesleyan. We're going to take another 30-second break, and we'll be back. 1:16 left on the clock, 84-79 Sabres. You're watching the Buzz Levick Tournament on Wartburg Night Vision, powered by Waverly Utilities.
When was the last time you got hyped up about your checking account? It's easy at State Bank. With Hype Checking, you can earn up to 2.04% APY on balances up to $25,000. Plus, get a free debit card with unlimited transactions, reimbursement up to $15 in ATM fees per cycle, free online banking, mobile banking, bill pay, and more. Get hyped up at State Bank with checking that earns you more. Open yours today. State Bank. Community-minded, customer-focused. Member FDIC.
Welcome back. 1:16 left on the clock, and we have ourselves a thriller. 84-79, 5-point game, and we've seen enough that this Tiger offense has a very quick trigger that they can put points up in a hurry. This game is not over yet.
Absolutely. Marian is really starting to play clock ball, while the Tigers are just, no matter what they do, no matter how many turnovers they give up, and as we have stated extensively, it has been a lot. No matter how many they give up, no matter how much they give Marian the ball, they always find a way to go back down and keep this a close game.
Thrown over to Hansen, now to Pinson. Trying to get the turnover, and they do! Dre comes up with it. Dribbles down, kicks. Surprised you didn't see him kick out to Sukup, but it's a 3-point game off the drive from the center.
And he had a wide open route all the way down to the basket.
Raymer with it up top, triple teamed, and he's going to be fouled. Very surprised to see them go for the foul. You've got a triple team on him, all players that are taller than him, and they decide to foul him. That's a tough mistake, especially as that's the 4th foul on Singletary. I disagree with that decision by the Tiger defenders on that play.
Yeah, once again, they find a way. They find a way to get a Sabre on that free throw line. They continually have just been constantly miscuing and giving the Sabres the ball, and the Sabres, especially in the second half. Like in the first half, it was not quite as bad because the Sabres were struggling to capitalize on those turnovers. But now, in the second half, when they're finally really making shots and getting into a rhythm, these fouls, every single one, is going to kill this Tigers team.
Dre misses, but Singletary in the putback. It's a 2-point game. Inbounded into Raymer. Singletary can't foul him because it would be his 5th. Butler picks his pocket. Out to Singletary. Almost loses the handle on the ball. We're tied up. 30 seconds left. What a game here in the consolation.
Fantastic drive, fantastic finish by Singletary. Great turnover. I'm honestly not sure who the Sabre was passing to on that play.
Butler may have just made the biggest play of the game, coming from behind to pick Pinson's pocket. 85-85, 21.2 seconds left. And if I'm the Sabres right here, I've got to go to Reggie Raymer.
Absolutely. Raymer and Pinson with his speed and his passing ability, and Raymer with his shot ability have been really starting to set themselves apart from the rest of the Sabres offense. Like we've mentioned before, Sabres offense has been far more balanced than their Iowa Wesleyan counterpart, but even with that, you got to go to Old Faithful at this point. 21.2 seconds left. You're tied ball game. You have to put your money where you know it'll do the most good.
Reggie Raymer, the team's leading scorer coming to this game. Manhart has had an awesome game, and he does have that size differential down low if he's guarded by one of the smaller players. With having Welker and Manhart in at the forward spots, gives you a nice little play there, but they're actually going to take Welker out of the game, and Biffert comes in. So size differential, not a big thing on this play. It's inbounded into Raymer, guarded by Singletary. The biggest thing you can't have happen, though, is a foul if you're Iowa Wesleyan. It's the two best players on the court guarding each other. Couldn't figure out a better way for this game to come down.
Time is running off the clock.
Raymer tries to go behind the back, but he thought his player was still there. Bifford had run to the rim. So a turnover with 6 seconds left. Gee, I wonder who this ball's going to go to.
I cannot imagine. It couldn't be
Steven Sukup?
I don't even know. Maybe it will be Sukup. Maybe it'll be it'll be Sukup.
Would expect possibly a quick inbound and then a timeout. They're not. Hand off to Singletary. Singletary for three. Off the front of the rim. No good. We're headed to OT.
Oh, absolute heartbreaking shot by DJ Singletary.